Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Brothers, today we are talking about the Dajjal, one of the weirdest and the most fascinating personalities in Islamic history. In Islam, there is no doubt that the Dajjal is still alive to this day and has a mission, but he is not granted permission by Allah Azza wa Jal. It was said about the Dajjal that his father was tall, a meaty guy. His mother has fat and big thighs, Fardakhiyya they called her in Arabic. And there are other details about the parents of the Dajjal, which we will talk about in this video. But guys, first check out NordVPN, the link is in the description below. Please support the channel and please do not forget to subscribe and like the video. Today we will talk about his birth and what did the shaitan do before the Dajjal was born, and what is his fitna, the fitna of the Dajjal that we always hear about. One of the popular hadiths about the parents of the Dajjal is a hadith that says the following. It was said that the Dajjal was born to a man and a woman, descendants of Judah or Yehuda, after 31 years of marriage in a place called Samir in Palestine. And this was before the birth of Prophet Moses, peace be upon him. It was said that Samir was the capital of the Jews after the times of the Prophet Solomon, peace be upon him. His father, the father of the Dajjal, was tall, a meaty guy. His mother had fat and big thighs, Fardakhiyya they called her in Arabic. She had long hands and big breasts. The family of the Dajjal were pagans. They worshipped a statue of a cow and they sacrificed to her all the time. Shaitan used to take their offerings, and as a result their belief in the cow increased. They prayed for a male child, and Allah wanted for them to have a child. Allah granted them their wish, with a twist of course. The father of the Dajjal, the husband of the Fardakhiyya, used to ejaculate inside of her during menstruation, and the shaitan was with them all the time. Shaitan was with them, assisting them. He pretended to be their god and called from the inside of the statue and said, "Sacrifice a cow for me, so that the conceived baby turns out to be a male." They believed him and followed the plan. The kid was born, a boy, but he was not normal. He used to sleep all day and night and barely wakes up to be breastfed by his mother. He was a miskh with the weirdest face ever. He required a lot of milk from the breastfeeding mother and did not move much. His mother died because of that. He took all the energy from his mother because of the excessive drinking of her milk. So the Dajjal was the worst thing that happened to his mother. The Dajjal remained like this for several years. He did not move much. His father thought he was paralyzed due to the wrath of God upon him. He continued his offerings in obedience to the shaitan and used to feed his son sheep's milk and tried everything to wake him up. He used to wake up to drink and sleep, and his father did not know that he was alive except by putting his ear on his heart. Rasul Muhammad, peace be upon him, said about the Dajjal, his eyes sleep and his heart does not sleep. The Dajjal was the worst thing that ever happened to his mother, of course. He indirectly killed her. The Dajjal was the worst thing that ever happened to his father too, since he is going to get his father killed. We will talk about that in a moment. One day the father wakes up and does not find the child. The child was discovered by the people of the village sleeping in the lap of the cow they used to worship. Of course the Dajjal was paralyzed, so how did he get there in the first place? Of course the shaitan did that. The father was reported to the ruler of the town. His name was As-Samiri, the ruler of Samir in Palestine. The father was killed by a Samiri for lying about the Dajjal being paralyzed. The Samiri took the Dajjal. He took the Dajjal when he was young as a kid and raised him. Of course the Dajjal did not fully recover, but he lived in the care of the ruler of Samir. The Samiri spread the rumor that the boy was possessed by the devil, so he came up with priests and sorcerers looking for cures. The child recovered considerably but not fully. He started moving after a few years of stillness, and he was stuttering in his words. One day, overnight, the torment, the adab, came from Allah, and Allah Almighty commanded Jibreel to destroy the people of Samir while they were sleeping, except for a small child who was in the ruler's palace. He was carried to an island and left alone, and was visited every now and then by God's command, of course. He was given food and water by the command of Allah. He lived in his cave until he reached his 20s, and he started learning and moving in the island. Listen to this. He never performed a prayer to God. He never prayed to Allah. He never performed the tasbih. The tasbih that the Dabba taught him. The Dabba was with him for long phases. She used to visit him a lot. The Dabba is a mu'minah. She was a believer. She was a very weird looking creature, and she visited him from time to time and always tried to draw his attention to the important matter of him not worshipping God. He followed her to the rocks one day as she attempted to remind him of what Jibreel did for him when he was a child. He was arrogant and looked at the sky while he was with her, and he said to her, "How do you know? I'm alone, and I do not see Jibreel, and I do not see Allah, and you are the one who wrote this on the rocks. Basically, you made this story up, so that I do not rule over you as I rule over this island of mine." The Dabba was devastated, and she left him with his arrogance and kufr. The Dajjal said, "I do not know anyone but me, and everything around me belongs to me. For am I the God of this island, and no one owns it and rules it except me?" He said, "If I worshipped God, then I'm a servant, and I cannot become a God if I'm a servant or a believer. I want to be God," the Dajjal said. Think about this, guys. He was the only guy left, saved by Allah. Allah provided for him and protected him his entire life, and this is what he gets. So Dajjal met passengers of a ship who were lost in the same island. He told them about his story, and they did not believe him and said, "This guy is crazy." They said he survived a ship that sank and lived on the island alone, so he went crazy because of that. So they decided to take him with them to save him from the island, and he was the worst thing that ever happened to them. Another sign that the Dajjal is cursed by Allah. Since the day the Dajjal set his feet on their ship, the waves were getting too strong for them, and the sea was angry with them in a way that they had never seen before. And we are not talking about ordinary people. We are talking about sailors, professionals that stayed in the oceans for their entire lives, as if this was a punishment from Allah to them for taking the Dajjal with them. They decided to let him go and leave him in the nearest land, and they advised him to see a doctor and be treated. He was a fast learner, the Dajjal, and everyone around him noticed it. He is a genius, the Dajjal. I know, it's a surprise, but this is how Allah created the Dajjal. So again, according to the narration, the Dajjal decided to go to the doctor just like the passengers told him. The doctor told him about his name. He asked him about his name, and the Dajjal said, "I am Ibn as-Samiri from Palestine." So he worked with him and said to him, If you live, son of Samir, you will be a king in either good or in evil." Sorry guys, I have to pause this video and talk a little bit about the sponsor of this video, NordVPN. This helps me make more videos and grow this channel. NordVPN is the best VPN software. It's affordable, and you can sign up to the service and download it from my link. It's a software that secures all your devices and allows you to access services that are not available in your country. Islamic shows, non-Islamic shows, sports events, etc. If you use a free public Wi-Fi, this is a must. This is even more important than your laptop and phone, since this is gonna secure your connection and your photos and video and bank details, etc. Thank you for downloading NordVPN. At this moment, he remembered the Dabba and decided to go to his island again, and he found the Dabba looking at him with anger when she fled to the forest and refused to talk to him. She was done with him. The Dabba was done with the Dajjal and didn't want to talk to him anymore. The Dajjal went to Samir in Palestine and asked about the khasf that the Dabba had told him about. They said, the people of Samir said, we do not know about the khasf. We only know about the khasf that happened 100 years ago. At this moment, the Dajjal knew that he was 100 years old. His appearance did not change a lot. And he asked about a small child that the ruler of Samir took from his father. And there was only an old man who told him that he had heard this story before from other people. This man was 100 years old. At this point, he knew that the Dabba was right about him possessing something that no other bashar, that no other human possessed, a unique superpower. For am I God, he said, and I do not worship anyone else. So the Dajjal worshipped himself, and God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, cursed him in return. He asked about what they used to worship. They said they used to worship cows. He then began to search for Moses, peace be upon him, until he met him, and he did not tell him anything except that he was a descendant of Isaac. Everything we heard about the Dajjal was from a trusted narration. You can't make these things up, of course. I hope God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, delivers us from the fitna of the Dajjal. I hope, my dear viewers, that we do not live to see the big fitna of the Dajjal. We do not need to witness. We cannot witness the fitna, a fitna as big as the fitna of the Dajjal, because I'm afraid our collective iman is not as strong as it should be to face the fitna of the Dajjal. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do not forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell, and thank you so much for downloading NordVPN. Assalamu alaikum.